So one of the challenges of seeking professional advice, John, is that if someone's not careful, they can speak to different professional financial advisors and receive advice from the perspective of the professional they're speaking to. So I think we were discussing an example earlier where someone had a concentrated position of stock from the company. They'd spoken to their accountant who was saying, actually, that's pregnant with gains, you should keep where you are. The financial advisor was saying, actually, you should be diversified, you need to sell. And the legal advisor, the private client lawyer, was saying, you should consider maybe using a trust option. So the client can be either in a position where they're having to make sense of those different areas of seller advice, or even worse, the advice might be even conflicting. So the benefit of working together and joining up your professionals means that that advice can be more consistent and more focused on you, the person. So can you tell us a bit more about Alazo and the type of clients that you serve, John?
Yeah, so I founded Alazo in around about 2012, and with a clear view that we wanted to be client-centric, proactive for clients, and just try and give them a service that helped them achieve goals they wanted to achieve. We've grown organically ever since. We serve a wide range of clients, from small self-employed people up to larger PLCs, and a full spectrum of services, from tax returns, VAT, payroll, up to accounts and audit.
So John, you've been working with us for a few years now. What are your impressions of Chiltern Hills and the team?
Well, from day one, it's clear how sort of passionate and driven you were to give a service to your clients, which resonated with me in terms of how we look at clients and want to deal with clients. And that follows through to all your team. It's clear every time I've spoken to them, they want to do the best for the client, which is the same for us as accountants. So it's been a clear message from me that Chiltern Hills wants to be proactive, give a good service, and work with fellow professionals to try and give that rounded service to their clients.
So John, can you think of any clients that you've got where either maybe they might need financial advice but don't have it, or where perhaps there is a financial advisor but you've not met them and maybe some of the basics are being missed?
Yeah, surprisingly common that business owners, wealthy individuals aren't getting any advice at all, whether or not they don't think they need it because they can do it themselves, or they don't think they're worthy of it because they're not wealthy enough or perceived to be wealthy enough to need it. It's very, very common. There's also, it's very surprisingly common how many advisors don't contact us as accountants, and they will deal with the client separately from us, completely away from us, and come to their own conclusions. And the next thing we find out about it is 6 months, a year later, and it may not necessarily be the best advice for that client, whether it be from a tax perspective or just from a personal perspective, because we do have good relationships with clients. We pride ourselves on growing those relationships. So we do know the clients inside out. So it's not always the case that advisors do get in touch with us.
So John, how do you think a financial advisor and accountant can work together and augment the service that they provide?
Well, I think it's essential to get different perspectives. It's always important in all walks of life, when you're making big decisions, to seek advice from different corners of your life. And professionals such as accountants and financial advisors will come at issues from different angles, but it's important for the client to understand those angles and understand which is best for them. Because people can be too sort of narrow-minded on what they're looking at. As an accountant, I may be focused on tax, but as a financial advisor, you'll have a broad range of what you're looking at, but by dealing with accountants or other professionals at the same time, we can coordinate our response and coordinate what hopefully is the best outcome for the client.
So I guess within that coordinated approach, so if the financial advisor and accountant are working together, I guess it leads you to making conscious decisions and intentional decisions around using allowances and making sure things are tax efficient and set up right within the tax year, rather than potentially closing out the tax year and just making the decision by default.
That's right, yeah, it's important to make sure they're getting advice at the right times. So they're, as you say, making use of allowances at the right time, because once that tax year is closed, then it could be too late. So they need to speak to their advisors regularly and across the board so that everyone's aware of what decisions are being made.
I think from my perspective as well, so working together as we do, there's an inseparability between like the business owner's business interest and their lives. So I think if one of those things isn't working properly, it leads into problems in the other. You know, so either the life isn't quite working right, well, the business supports the life ultimately, and if the business isn't working right, well, that stress carries through into the life. And I guess the financial planner and accountant together have got the whole perspective.
Yeah, I think we're there to try and reduce stress for business owners, try and give them a path, a guideline, a route to try and get to where they want to get to. So being coordinated, we can try and help them achieve their goals.